right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming up to this workshop, the Anatomy of a Fundraiser. It's nice that Paris is quite represented. I love it. What I'm going to do is go ahead and have Dan introduce himself, and then we'll go around the room and have each one of you introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
I am Dan Cortesi from the Rotary Club of Hemet. I'm an AG in Area 13. I'm our club's public image chair, and I'm on the committee for the district's public image.
Thank you, Dan. Juan, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Juan Santos. I'm a Rotary member since, sorry, I thought I was in work mode. I have been in Rotary for, I think this is my 5th year.
Nice.
And I am currently the chair for promotions and all that.
Awesome. And can you add to your introduction one thing you want to learn at today's workshop?
Well, I have seen the magnificent job that they've done at Hemet to kind of promote their program. And so I'd like to learn some of the tricks of the trade to do some of those things for our own program. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Shirley, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Shirley Coates. I am the current president of the Riverside East Rotary. And I've been in Rotary, well, it's going on my 6th year now, and served on different committees. But my reason for being here is, yes, to learn more about fundraising. We have some projects that we're working on, and definitely we can use some fundraising skills to do that. Awesome.
Thank you. Stephen, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I think it's obvious. I'm from Palm Springs Sunup. Beautiful 110 degrees today. I've been in Rotary, I think it's since 2010. Started out in Colorado and moved to Palm Springs. I am the foundation president and PR and webmaster.
A man with many hats. What do you want to learn today, Stephen?
I want to learn more about social media and fundraising. Our big event is our Truck Art Festival, and we are on social media. We get a lot of response from it, always looking to enhance.
Awesome. Patty, can you introduce yourself? You're on mute, Patty. She's trying to get off mute. There she goes.
There I go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Patty Smith, current president of the Paris Rotary, and I'm really excited about this. Mike, who is our admin person, he wears all these hats. He told us about it, and we said, okay, I need to learn a lot more about it. Dan, I have an email that I'm sending out to you, so look for it before the end of the day. And I just want to know more about, because in the coming next quarter, we had a great first quarter. We've got second quarter coming up, and I'm really excited about where our club is and where we're going, and we're working hard every day to just make Rotary relevant in our community. So I'm really happy to be here tonight.
Awesome.
And I've been in Rotary for 4 years.
Welcome to have you. Happy to have you. All right. It moved around on me here. Mike, can you introduce yourself?
I can. My name is Mike Perrins. I'm with the Paris Club. Had a few positions. My reason for signing up is I actually seen it on DB as public image. So I registered through that. And I think this is the same thing, but my reason is I want to be more like Dan.
Don't we all want to be more like Dan?
No.
I think public image is the most important thing that we have going on, and I just want to be able to support Juan Santos because he's our club public image chair, and we'll work together on our website and make sure that we do everything according to Dan.
Well, I love that we have so many in one club that are here as well, because it really does take a village, and you guys are putting that to the test. Linda, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Linda Hanley from San Gregonio Pass Rotary Club out in beautiful Banning, where it's very hot out here today. So, but I've been in Rotary for 24 years, so this is my second term as president of this club, and I've done almost every other club thing in all my other clubs. So I'm hoping to learn more about the Facebook fundraising online. So I was hoping my public image person would be here, but it's just me.
It's okay. Remember that it is.
What else is new?
It is being recorded, and you can, Dan went ahead and put a link in the chat box for where these recordings reside on our YouTube channel for the district. So you can send it to your public image person or anyone else in your club that you would like to learn more about this. Michelle, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, Michelle Nobleman from Palm Springs. Last month's session was so great, and I passed information, including your district calendar, on to some of my team members. We also got together with Steve Levine, and he helped us out with great ideas for working on our website. So this has been just fabulous.
Good. I'm glad you guys are finding value. That's the intent. Ricardo, it's lovely to have a past district governor joining us today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I have a bad eye and it's ugly, so you're going to have to look at my Taco Man figure. But I'm past Governor Taco Loretta, and the topic of fundraising, the topic of PR and branding are near and dear to my heart. Anything that helps make our club stronger, I'm very much in favor of, and I'm here to tell you that I want to learn more and I want to help more.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Manuel, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I have to keep my, they told me because of my internet is very unstable, it's best to keep my video and sound off, and then turn it on when I have to.
Totally understand.
I'm a president right now of the Rotary Club of the Coachella Valley, and we haven't done any fundraising really for the last 2 years or so because of the pandemic. So we're a little rusty. So we want to get some new pointers and maybe some new ideas on how to do some the branding and also public image out there for Rotary. For the Coachella, the Rotary Club of the Coachella Valley. We have to be careful because since we're in the Coachella Valley, we're really not the Coachella Valley Rotary. We're the Rotary Club of the Coachella Valley. So
all about the way it's organized, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone, for being on here. We're going to jump right in here. Today, we're talking really specifically about the anatomy of a Facebook fundraiser. That doesn't mean that we won't be able to talk about fundraising in general, and we can definitely lead into that. I am going to focus a little bit more on Facebook fundraising, and then we can just answer any questions that we as we go along. Can everybody see my screen that says the anatomy of a Facebook fundraiser? Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yes,
cool.
yes, yes.
All right. So the example I'm going to give here, it is a something we just did in July. So I'm going to give you a real life example of a Facebook fundraiser, but the key elements that this type of a fundraiser take are the same across the board if you're going to do a Facebook fundraiser. And why I suggest an online fundraiser as a possibility of fundraising is that it is a nice tool that allows you to do fundraising without putting up a tent or even, buying any food or any of that type of thing. And it is not easy necessarily, but it is one of the tools that you want to have in your fundraising toolbox. So first things first, the steps to success is you need to set a goal. Set a goal for what you're trying to raise. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to do that and the story that goes along with it. Preparing the technology. You can't just start one day and decide you're going to do a Facebook fundraiser and do it the next day. You would think it would be that easy, but it is not. So I want to help make sure you have the right steps in place with that, because that takes a little bit of time and you want to get that prepped prior to deciding you're going to do a fundraiser. It takes a team. This is not a one-person show here. It is a rally of the team that you need to put together to, like any fundraiser, it still takes a team, even though you may not be having your team putting up tables and tents. They still need to be active part of this. Priming the pump. I'm sure Pastor Strict Governor Loretta will have a lot to say about priming the pump. This is part of what makes any fundraiser successful. Keeping up the momentum as you go through the fundraiser, making sure always to thank every donor, and then celebrating your success. So let's take it away. Advanced slide, there we go. So the example I'm going to give is, this actually was the Rotary Club of Temecula, the Sunrise Rotary Club. They do the Christmas dinner every Christmas, been doing it for about 25 years. For anybody in the community that is alone on Christmas Day, they can come and have Christmas dinner at the Senior Center in Temecula. So what it takes to put on that event is they pull in a trailer full of supplies, including a stove and all the serving dishes, and then there's Christmas gifts that are given out and wrapped and given to the kids and the seniors. And literally an 18-foot trailer full of stuff is pulled up to the Senior Center right around Christmas time. And then we put on this amazing dinner for everyone in the community. Well, that trailer got stolen. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And it was really came to the point, are we going to continue to do this event or not? And, you know, the team is very passionate about it. This is a collaboration between multiple Rotary clubs in our region, as well as the community in general. So we decided to band together and say, okay, we can do this. We can raise the funds necessary to replace the items in the trailer, replace the trailer, and still buy the food, which is a $10,000 or $15,000, yearly commitment to just get the food. So adding it all up together, and that was the very first thing. What is it that we need to raise? So when you're looking at your fundraiser, having a specific dollar amount or a specific cause of what you're trying to raise, especially when you're doing it on Facebook, is critical, because you need to really keep that story, the why of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how much you're trying to raise is critical. And you actually need that number to set up the actual fundraiser when you go to set it up online. And that's where we go into the why. Why is it that you're trying to raise these dollars? Another example of a fundraiser that we did that was very successful for the Southern California Railway Museum, they also had never done a Facebook fundraiser, or never thought that that could also be possible. So we talked to them about, okay, well, what do you want to do? What project would we like to dedicate these dollars to? And they said, well, we need to replace the ties on the track that we have going through the museum. And so the fundraiser was completely about buy a tie. So we figured out, how much does it cost for a tie? That happens to be $41. So the recommendation was, can you give us $41? That was the ask out to the world for the fundraiser as the donation amount. The overall donation that they were looking for was something like $14,000 or whatever it was. But the idea is that you're getting not only the total amount that you want to raise, but also the little chunks that you're trying to get from each one of your donors. Now, some of them are going to give you $100, some of them are going to give you $5, some of them are going to give you $25. But the idea is to craft that story that's going to compel the donors to be able to donate to your fundraiser. The one that I'm talking about for the Sunrise Rotary Club, we called it Christmas in July, and we decided that it was going to run the entire month of July. I will tell you that is not what I would recommend for most online fundraisers. I would recommend that the time frame that you're doing the fundraiser online is about 2 weeks, because a whole month is a lot of time to try to keep the momentum up, and it usually isn't very effective. So to keep the energy, the momentum, the activity going on the fundraiser, recommendation would be about a 2-week period of time that you're going to try to do your fundraiser. I'm going to stop here because I've kind of thrown a lot of information at you. Any questions about setting your goals and crafting your story? No? Okay. I'm going to move on to the next one. This one is a big one. This is the one where I was saying you can't just immediately start. And I will tell you that the district is actually going through this right now in trying to set up the proper information to be able to accept donations on Facebook. The nice thing about doing a Facebook fundraiser is there are no fees taken out if you're a nonprofit organization, and you can provide all the information that you have here on the right-hand side of the screen. So you have to have submit an application to be able to do Facebook fundraising or put a donation button on your nonprofit organization. And let's first start about organization versus group. So if you have a Facebook group for your club, you will not be able to do fundraising on that group page. You actually have to have an organization page to do any kind of donations and Facebook fundraising. I probably am not going to go very deep into that, but if you have questions about that, Dan has gone through this. It's painfully gone through this painful process. He knows exactly how to walk you through it. But I would just say that you need to have a group page to be able to do this type of fundraising. And then you have to do an application. I put the link for the application. And before you hit that link for the application, go ahead and collect the documents on the right, because that is what you're going to need before you can complete the application. Any questions on that? No questions. I know it's a lot of detail, but that's important, because what a lot of times people, groups say, okay, I want to do a Facebook fundraiser. They get all excited and then they go to try to do it. And the fact is that that takes about 2 weeks. If you were to start today and had all of your information, you're still going to it takes about 2 weeks to go to that process. That is partly why I did this particular workshop now, because I knew that people are trying to get ready for doing the end of year fundraising. And if you are going to be doing that, you're going to want to get everything ready before you start. And I think that's the biggest part here is, creating that plan, getting that strategy together is probably the biggest element of having a successful fundraiser, because you have to get all these things in place to be able to then launch out your start date and have the information necessary, the posts ready, the talking points, and having all of your team helping you promote and share and like and make this event go viral. And that's the key, is to make it go viral. So setting your kickoff date is important so that everybody knows when you're going to start, and that they're paying attention to the event itself that you have online. Giving everyone talking points, promoting it online and offline. So this is not just talking about it on Facebook, but you would want to be talking about this in your club. You might have a press release that goes out saying you're going to do a fundraiser. You would maybe go speak at city council. This is one of those things where a lot of people don't realize that you can go to the city council meeting and you can pull a speaker's ticket and you can talk about anything you want for 3 minutes. And trust me, everybody, there's some people that talk about just about anything, but this would be a very positive way to get the city council, first of all, to know what you're doing. This resulted in $1,000 sponsorship or donation from the city when we went to city council for this particular program. But those city council meetings are televised, so you get a certain amount of people that see and hear about it at that. And often there are many people in the audience. So it's a small thing, but it's a very good way to kind of get the word out in the many ways that you're talking about your fundraiser. Sending an email drip campaign. So although you're doing the fundraiser on Facebook and online, you need people to know about it. So sending an email drip campaign with a link to the fundraiser to your club, to your community, is important in helping to build the momentum, the excitement, and the donations. And then the final thing is that it's not an if you build it, they will come scenario. When you do your fundraiser, you need to be prepared to post daily or at least 3 times a week during the time that fundraiser is going. So you want to have those posts ready prior to. And when I'm talking about posts, and Dan can probably speak even more to this, video posts, little 30-second snippets are the ones that get the most attention. And I'm going to pop kind of out of this, and I'm going to pop over to the actual event that we did. And while I'm doing that, Dan, can you speak a bit about the engagement that you see on the district Facebook page when you're doing a video versus a static ad?
Yeah, so videos actually aren't that hard to put together anymore. You can easily use like Canva, which I use daily, to put together a video with just pictures or whatever, and music. But I believe it was like a 70% increase in the amount of people that would actually stop on a video versus just a picture. So videos are definitely a huge asset to any sort of advertising or marketing. I'm trying to get more into to videos for our district events. So you'll see, if you go to our Facebook page right now, you'll see like a little promo that we're using for the gala. Plus, if you go to our YouTube channel, that same promo will be the first thing you see when you log on. So it's just a much better way to grab people's attention. And I can see the numbers. We're usually about in the 1,000, 2,000 range for just a picture, once that goes out. And that's just interactions, like how far did it get? But when you start putting videos out there, you'll see like 10,000, 20,000 people, especially when people start sharing it, because there's a lot more interest in a video. So the product that you can produce goes much further than you would ever expect.
And it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't even have to have Canva or some special fancy editing software. I pushed and pushed for Mark, and Mark is not comfortable being in front of the camera, but he did this very simple video. Now, it could have maybe been shot a little bit different, but it didn't really matter because it was the heart of what he was saying. I don't know if it'll play.
Thank me for
is the sound coming
doing
through?
What we do at the Temecula Community Christmas dinner. So I gave her a hug. Well, she started tearing up a little bit, and she had just lost her husband the year before, and I was the first guy to ever give her a hug since then. So what could I do? I gave her another hug, and she's been back every year ever since to get one. Pretty cool.
So super simple, not produced, and I tell you what, that video, well, you saw the stats on it. It got like 3,000 hits on it, and it resulted in people really sharing it out, just like Dan said, and that resulted in more donations coming in. So that's super critical when it comes to getting the word out about any of your projects, but specifically when you're talking about your fundraisers. Okay, let me get back to... So video, getting the word out, and hold on, I got to try to move this stuff around so I can get back into my PowerPoint. There we go. All right. Prime the pump. This is very important. So prior to starting your fundraiser, the best thing you can do is get a few commitments prior to and get them ready to give the moment you launch the fundraiser. So you want to see those donations coming in. This doesn't have to be big donations. I'm just saying get something going, because that activity results in much more activity. So what happens is you launch your fundraiser, and then if someone donates, then you and many of the committee that are in your fundraising team would thank them, would share it, their friends are going to share it, etc. So the key is to, once you start your fundraiser, make sure everybody has the link to the fundraiser. They know how to share it with their friends, and that's the viral part of it. To invite and share with their friends, and then the friends of the friends of the friends will invite and share. That's what makes a fundraiser go viral. And that's where you can suddenly get donations from people that you never even would have touched in any other instance, because there's somebody's brother's cousin's friend that saw this on their page or got invited to donate, and then all of a sudden they're moved by the emotional video that you've posted, and that's why they decide to give you $5 or $10 or $150. The keeping up of the momentum is critical as well. That's the posting regularly, the thanking, the posting. So this is an example of a post that we did for this Christmas in July. Really, getting people understanding that there's some urgency, that we are, we're raising the funds, but there's more to raise, share, like, and help get to the finish line. So you want to pepper, you don't want to just constantly be asking for the money. So you want to pepper in the informational videos, the heartwarming videos with the ask. So that's why having that content written and ready prior to, or recorded and ready prior to, helps you be more successful. We learned at our last workshop about having an editorial calendar, or having like a plan of, this is what I'm going to post every day prior to the actual posting. And Dan, I'll let you speak to, is that helpful? How do you find value in that?
I'm sorry, I was answering the chat, so you'll have to repeat that for me.
I was saying, how does the editorial calendar or having a plan prior to post help you?
Oh, that has made life so much easier. So basically, Judy has laid out the calendar. We've got themes. We've got daily posts. Mondays can be a specific type of post. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we try to keep it kind of in orderly, but but allowing us to provide enough information, obviously, throughout the week. But we try to keep it interesting. It's definitely worth taking the time to put one of those together to keep you on track and make it so much easier. And I think, I'm a content guy. I'm always looking for content, and I think that's the best way to start out. So if it's written on that editorial calendar, I reference that almost every single day. Boom! If it's a DG Don post, I'm looking for his information. He usually gives it to me ahead of time, but I'm looking for something that he's provided me. Get that out there. Sometimes I schedule posts ahead of time, so I know, on Monday or Tuesday, I don't necessarily have to do anything because I did it over the weekend when I actually had time to do it. So all of that kind of works together and makes your PR job a lot easier.
That's the idea, right? We're trying to make sure that it's not overtaking our lives, but we still get the job done. Thanking every donor. So this is really critical. I kind of put a bunch of things up here, different donors, different levels. We were even thanking the offline donors. So this particular fundraiser, the goal was $32,000. We raised 5,700 online, and we raised another 12,000 offline. And we would just thank both the online and the offline donors online on the Facebook fundraiser, because that way they could get that exposure. Everybody knew the money was coming in. People that are not interested in doing anything on Facebook and don't want to give their credit card on Facebook understood that they could just mail a check in and they would still get recognized and it would still go to the right place. And so I can't state enough that you have to thank all of your donors, no matter big, small, little, and try to thank them as soon as possible, because that's what keeps that momentum going. And then finally, celebrate the success. So when you get done with a Facebook fundraiser, don't just dump and run. I mean, it's really important that you know, it's even better if you can do a little video thanking everyone, but in the very least, thank them for their support and stay in consistent communication with your audience as much as possible as well. You guys on your club pages, I'm sure, are posting regularly. This would be a small, 2-week hard push, and then you're going to want to stay in communication throughout the year. And even better would be, we raised these dollars and this is what we did with them. Those are the reason that it builds that trust and credibility over time, so that your fundraisers get more and more and more successful over time. Okay, before we go to questions, I'm gonna go out of this for just a second and actually take you to, I'm gonna set up a fundraiser, just sort of a mock one, so you can see the process. So say I was on the Christmas community dinner and I wanted to set up a new fundraiser. I'm gonna try to do this, and it's, ta-da-da. Oh, they moved everything around. Well, let me go to questions first, and then I will go back to this in a little bit. And actually, what'll be better would be I will go put a tutorial together for you guys that'll kind of show you where you would click to do a fundraiser, so that I'm not trying to do it on the fly. Any questions? Mike, you're on mute, Mike.
It wouldn't come off, sorry. The donations that you received for that, the 17,000, is there a percentage of those that were paid by mail, or was the majority of those on credit card, or how did you receive those donations?
Very good questions, thank you. So about 5,000 of that was received on Facebook through the Facebook fundraising system. And when Facebook doesn't take any fees out, it takes them about 15 to 30 days to get it into your account. When you set up your account, it'll drop directly into the account for the organization. The other 12 or 13,000 was checks that were mailed in. So we did both an offline and online fundraiser simultaneously, which worked extremely well. Steve, did you have a question?
Yes, actually, I've made a couple of comments on the chat, and Dan and Michelle have done it. My latest question was, have we ever tried a GoFundMe site for your event and get results?
There are a lot of opportunities out there for doing fundraising. Most of them charge you a percentage for the money that you raise. Facebook doesn't charge, and Facebook has the largest audience, and it's super easy to use. So yes, of course, there are many different ways, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't use them at all. I would just say that just think about all the, the charges and fees that you might incur in some of these other tools that you use. Also, I would say that the actual process of setting your goals and everything that we just went through would be applicable to a GoFundMe as well. And if you read the GoFundMe instructions, they'll tell you the same thing.
Thank you.
Taco, you had a question?
Yes, well, I had I wanted to point out that the suggestion that you made about going to the city council meetings is something that only recently did I think about doing that for our Rotary clubs. However, in principle, it has been a very, very successful way of raising money in the Coachella Valley, where we have 9 cities. And in fact, just as a point of interest, the largest single donor to our big gala on October 8th, when Jennifer Jones is coming, is the city of Rancho Mirage, which is giving us $10,000. The ask for that $10,000 was presented in that 3-minute public comment section of a Rancho Mirage City Council meeting. And they answered it 5 days later in the affirmative. I asked for 10 to 15,000 and they gave us 10,000. I did have a question though. So I'm thanking you for making that suggestion. My guess is that there's a lot of money out there. If you haven't done it before, it wouldn't hurt to get to know people in your respective cities and find out who the movers and shakers are that make the decisions, because it's not the same people in each city. And some it's the city manager, but he sits in those meetings. And in some it's 1 or 2 of the city council people, maybe one that's been on for a long time that carries a lot of weight. Another question though, partnerships. Do you recommend that when you're doing fundraisers on Facebook, which is the topic tonight, you work in the fact that there can be benefit to a donor by leveraging their money? In other words, we have the opportunity for your dollar to become 2 or 3. Is there anything like that that you may have tried?
Oh, absolutely. Matching funds are a beautiful thing. So if you can get a that's the prime the pump thing. If you can get a donor to come in, like a company to come in and give you $1,000, and you can say, you can then write that story, please, help match these funds that this donor has come in and given. And what it does is it gives that corporate donor a lot of exposure, and also gives you a prime the pump for your fundraiser too, so that you're driving the dollars and trying to get those matching funds. So yes, absolutely.
Right.
It's a good way to do it. Michelle, do you have a question?
Yeah, going on along with Taco's input, check with your city to see what their rules are, because Palm Springs is 2 minutes, not 3 minutes. And in order to get money, they doing that 2 minutes wasn't going to do anything. They just told me today that there's another process to go through. So check with your city about the best way to go after money from them. And also, I wanted to check on the Facebook fundraiser. You do have to be a 501c3, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You do have to have that was the list of things that was on that list of you have to have all that documentation in place before you can even apply for the opportunity to raise funds on Facebook.
Right.
Dan.
Judy, I don't know if you talked about this already, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but did you talk about how, like, the process it takes to get your money from Facebook? Do you have any experiences?
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. When you do that application, you're going to have a bank account that you give them, and they put the money directly in the bank account, usually within 30 to 45 days of your fundraiser. It's not fast. I'll give you that. Yeah. It's not super fast, but it comes and they give you a report and the whole deal. That's what I was going to mention, because I've heard from our treasurer that, we have all these successful fundraisers, but yeah, it's a little slow to get the money. But it doesn't cost anything, which is nice. That's the benefit no matter what. Yeah. Yeah. Michelle?
Yeah. If you do a fundraiser, like individuals say, oh, it's my birthday, please donate to this organization. That money goes to the nonprofit every quarter. So it might be a little different for the fundraisers.
Yeah, it's a little different when you're doing it as an organization. It does come a little faster than the quarter, but yeah, they still get it in the account. That's no doubt. Any other questions? Shirley?
Trying to get my mute off there. I know when you were saying, this is really good information. Most of the clubs are individual 501(c)(3). Okay.
Most clubs should have a foundation that's a 501(c)(3), and that's typically what.
Oh, the foundation, that's
Yeah.
what okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. Okay.
If you don't have a 501(c)(3), then that makes this not as easy to do. It makes it impossible to do, I think. But yeah, you do need to have a 501(c)(3) set up for this.
Right,
process.
okay. Oh, we have that on the foundation. I'm sorry, I was thinking you were taking the just
Yeah.
the club itself.
Yeah. Any other
Sure.
questions?
I just want, surely the clubs are, or most of the clubs are 501(c)(4)s, but as Judy pointed out, a good number of our clubs, and I think yours was Riverside East.
Yes.
I saw you the other day, I think.
Yes, yes.
That's, you have your own foundation.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, good.
Yes, we do. And since we saw that you don't mind if I tell everybody that Taco was the recipient of the Community Champion Award in the city of Riverside. So that was a really big thing for all the things that he has done. So I think congratulations again on that award.
Correct. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, she was nice enough to come and sit at the table with us. Thank you.
So I know we've kind of gone over a lot on the Facebook fundraiser. We can stay on that, or we can go in general on fundraising. If you have any other fundraising questions, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
And I've been around and met with all the clubs, obviously, but do you feel that it's important to have an established annual fundraiser that a club over time, like Corona's Lobster Fest is a big example, or Temecula's Taste of the World, which was done for a long time, and others I know have car shows. And is that important to build a reputation of having an event that also is a fundraiser, but it's a fun event in the community?
I would say yes. I mean, the hard work is always in that first year. The second year, you're tweaking and improving, and then when you're going forward, it's still a lot of work. But the reality is that once you build that consistency and continuity, then people start looking forward to that event, and then it's easier to promote it because you have pictures and videos from previous events. You can tell the story of, what you've been able to do with the money since you've had the event. So yes, having a regular annual fundraiser is going, rather than trying to change it up every year, it really is a hard thing, and you're really working overtime if you're trying to do a different event every year. That consistency and continuity is important. Stephen?
I've found in the past, or currently, and I've asked several times, why can't district put together a fundraising list from every club with a little history of what works and does not work? We're always all looking to do something better. We are this year working with Michelle on the Noon Club to work on fundraising to promote our chalk art event, which has been successful, but we always want to make more money. Yes, we put Rotary into the community, and that's very important, no question about it. But I think the district should be able to send out from every club what works, maybe what does not work, so we can actually move forward in fundraising.
Well, as the district community service chair, I'll work with Judy and Dan and see if we can come up with a way of communicating that. I think that's an excellent idea. And we had our community service meeting. I think that a lot of these activities, community service, fundraising, branding, or membership are really related. Okay. And I like that idea. So I think it would be pretty easy to do. And so the way to do it will be to ask the clubs to send them to us so that then we can consolidate it and into some kind of a easy to understand summary list and then put it out there and show it to everybody. Is that what you're thinking of, Steve?
Absolutely, yes.
And that can be put on the website similar to what we have on the Speakers Bureau. So good idea, Stephen. And that's something that, Taco, thank you for taking that on. We can work with Dan and get maybe get a survey out and then put that up on the website.
Good idea.
If I just can expand on that, and Judy, it's very well to put it on the district website. It's like all of our websites. How many people really look at it? I happen to look at the district website once, twice a month. I do. You'd be surprised how many people do not at your website. We are on Google Analytics. I know who looks at us from cities anyway, but you'd be surprised. Websites do not promote what we're doing. I think social media, as this whole story is about, is really where we have to go. And it's my opinion, but through experience, this is what works or doesn't.
Well, Stephen, I think the point of putting it on the website is that then we could link to it from multiple other sources, from the newsletter, from the social media. It's a holding spot. It is the storage place that we put things for people to get to. So I agree, nobody's going to necessarily, run to that website just because we put something new on it, but it gives us a place where we can drive traffic to.
Thank you very much.
Mike, did you? I know, Michelle, you have a question. Mike, did you have a question? And then I'll go to Michelle.
Yeah, it was about the celebration. That was the last thing on your list. When I first became a Rotarian, I was very impressed with clubs like Corona, because they have so many members. And when they do their annual report, I would see basically, now we're all service above self and we don't brag, and we try to not let our pride show too much. But when Corona used to put out their lists of the 10,000 that they gave to so-and-so, and the 15,000 that they gave to so-and-so, and the 25,000 that they sent out, to different areas and different cities and communities and different fundraisers that they did. That was impressive to me. It made me, just looking at that, I didn't take it as, oh, how arrogant to, post what you're giving away. I took it as, man, what a great job you're doing. And I want to see more of that. Paris isn't going to go out and brag about, we should, but we don't go out and brag about the dollars that we collect and from our two different fundraisers that we give strictly to the kids and scholarships. There's the place that we need to do more fundraising. We do the honors dinner once a year for the community, and we do the golf, and both of those dollar signs go into the scholarships. And I think that's where we want to do the most good. And I think that's where Juan and Patty will probably want to put the most efforts into a Facebook fundraiser, because the scholarships are coming due soon.
And that's a good story to be able to tell. Two points to that. And Michelle, I haven't forgot about you, but 2 points to what you're saying, Mike. I think it's really important, and it makes us relevant if we are, as Rotary clubs, not bragging, but just showing the impact that we are making in our communities. I had the pleasure of submitting a to the chamber, the Charity of the Year application to the Chamber of Commerce for Temecula. And when I was putting that together, and you start gathering everything from all the different pieces and parts of your club, and it's like international is doing this, and the seniors are doing this, and the youth are doing this, and you start putting that all together, it's pretty impressive. And as an incoming district governor, one of the things that I've been noodling in my brain, and I'm not sure how to get it, would be that kind of data from every club, because if we were to put that together of all the 60 clubs we have in our district and to add up the impact that that has given in our community, that's amazing. Now, I know that when you put in your goals into Rotary.org, that would be the information. So if every president did that, then that would give us district governors the opportunity to then be able to go out to the community and to the state and say, look at what these clubs are doing for our community. It's a huge, huge impact, which then allows us to get more relevancy and also get more people to join, et cetera. So Michelle, I'm going to let Michelle go, and then I'll come back to Mike.
Yeah, I was just following up on Steve's and just saying that we, since we are two clubs in the same town, this year we are pushing more and more events together because, we're better together.
Right.
And there's no competition between a noon club and a morning club.
I think it's very effective, and it just grows. And when you're doing stuff like a Facebook fundraiser, that's what you should also be doing, is reaching out to the other surrounding clubs and let them share it to their audience and their network. And that gives you additional exposure. Mike?
I'm sorry, Dan. I think the place to put the group of fundraisers or to do the reporting, the district website would be proper, but can Dan or someone add those just as a link or a list into the governor's newsletter?
Yes, that's the
so
point.
That people,
you got to
if
put
they
it
want
on.
to, they can go look at it.
Yeah, that would be the intention, is that it's also put in the newsletter. Dan?
Just one thing I wanted to kind of reinforce, I guess, is the district's website right now, although it's great information for somebody who comes in, from the outside and wants to get an idea of who we are and what we do. But the goal, I think, and this is the way I see it as more of like a resource center for district members, just Rotarians in our district. Believe it or not, DACDB is a huge resource. Like, it's got a ton of stuff, really cool stuff you can do, but it's not that easy. So everybody's afraid of using it. So really the information's there, but nobody really knows how to access it. So I think setting up the district website the way we did, it allows everybody easy access to find out information. And I know, me being a president, me being involved in the district, me being an AG, I get asked a lot of questions. And believe it or not, a lot of those questions are answered on that website. So if you guys as presidents and PR chairs go to your clubs and sell it like, hey, you could go to the website and probably find that answer. It's going to be helpful to all of us, So I just kind of want to throw that out there because I'm looking at it different now. Even myself, I've already gone there to find out information about, other committee information or whatever that I don't know about, So I just wanted to kind of reinforce that part of it. So
Thank you so much. All right, we're coming close to wrapping up. Any final questions or final thoughts? Was this helpful to you guys? All right, got some head nods. That's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you all. I believe the next one is going to be all Dan all the time, because I will be traveling, and Dan's going to be talking a lot about the tools that he uses to make the amazing graphics and videos and things that he does for both the district and his club. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Again, let anybody know that missed this meeting that it is also, or this workshop, that it's on YouTube. You guys have the link. And if you have any questions or any topics that you'd like to discuss in the future, let me know, because we just kind of came up with these. And if there's something else you're really looking forward to hearing or learning about, we'll be happy to address those as well. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to you soon. Bye.